Hello everybody, we have arrived at the port of Miami to go on a Disney Dream cruise ship to the Bahamas. I'm pretty stoked about the different food options on the ship. Let's walk around.
Disney Dream, these lovely boys are so cool.
For our first restaurant, we're here at the Royal Palace, which is a French-themed restaurant here on the Disney Dream. So for our first appetizer, we ordered the duck confit, which is the duck leg, pulled and cooked in its own fat, and there's some cranberries and walnuts for garnish. Let's taste this. There's a strong duck flavor. Just melts in your mouth, very good. And the walnuts and cranberry are a nice touch. Next up, we got the iced lobster and shrimp. Let's taste this. I'm not a fan that it's an iced lobster, but the dill does add a good amount of flavor to the lobster. Next, let's try out the shrimp. It's like a horseradish cream sauce. Yeah, it's amazing. Thank you. The shrimp and the horseradish cream sauce tastes very good. For our last appetizer, we got the breaded and deep fried brie with some type of cranberry chutney. Nice and melty. Love the crisp bread outer layer. And let's try some of that chutney. Cranberry goes very well with the brie. Wasn't expecting that. Pretty good appetizers here at the Royal Palace. So for our first entree, we got the rack of lamb medium with some burgundy rosemary sauce. Let's taste this. Perfectly cooked. A little stronger rosemary taste than I like, but not too bad. Let's try the potatoes. See, it's crispy on the outside. The potatoes are cooked perfectly. Very good. Next up, we got the crispy roasted duck breast. It comes with a honey parsnip mash and a red wine jus. Let's try the duck first. Some jus in there. Some good duck flavor. It is a little chewier than I was hoping. Let's try the mash. Very creamy, pretty solid. And our last entree is the Chateaubriand Filet. It comes with a red wine jus and a béarnaise sauce on the side, and some potatoes, shallots, and green beans. Let's try the filet. Get that red wine jus in there. Cooked medium rare, perfectly melts in your mouth. Let's try the béarnaise sauce. Wow. Béarnaise sauce goes very well with the filet. and just some of the filet by itself. The texture of the filet is just unbeatable. One of my favorite entrees here. First up, we got their signature dish, which is the Gateau. It's a sponge cake soaked in coffee with a chocolate ganache. And it's topped with some gold flakes. Wow. I usually love something like this, a sponge cake with a coffee. And the chocolate is so rich, full flavor, very good.
While taking the bite. Oh yeah. Enjoy, no?
Last but not least, we got the Grand Marnier Soufflé and a Tahitian vanilla creme brulee. Let's try that soufflé first. Wow. You really taste the egg flavor. And the soufflé itself is so soft. Amazing. Next, we got the creme brulee. I tried some creme brulee in France. This is a very authentic taste. Again, very pleased with all the meals here at the Royal Palace. And the desserts especially.
Scarlet dip, and it tastes pretty good.
For dinner tonight, we're here at Animator's Palate, which is a Disney-themed restaurant, and I'm pretty excited for some of these foods. For our first appetizer, we got the black truffle pasta. It's a champagne sauce.
So you like butter. And there was cheese filling with truffle flavor. You would have
A nice delicate truffle flavor. And the pasta's cooked just right. Next up, we got the smoked salmon tartar on a bed of cucumbers and some smoked salmon and a horseradish sauce with some capers, onions, cream cheese, and dill. Let's taste this. Good amount of lemon on there. Again, it's very fresh. Let's get some of that dill and cream cheese. Really good. Next up, we got a tomato tart, and there's some goat cheese on top. Oh, sure, thank you. Appreciate it. Cooked perfectly, very soft and flaky. Let's get some of that goat cheese in there. Tastes really good. Very pleased with the appetizers here. For our first entree, we got some grilled tuna steak, and it comes with some kind of aioli. Has a nice sear. A little overcooked. But the flavor is on point. Let's try some aioli on top. Besides being a little overcooked, it's pretty good. All right, next up we got a Ginger-Teriyaki tenderloin with some wasabi mashed potatoes, some bok choy, and a tamarind barbecue reduction. Let's try the tenderloin, medium rare. Pork shirts more medium well done. But let's taste this. Definitely overcooked, a little chewier than I appreciated. But the ginger teriyaki flavor is there. Not usually a fan of a wasabi, so didn't like the wasabi mashed potatoes. Let's get some of that bok choy. And let's try some of that tenderloin in the reduction.
Okay, you know why? You know why?
Pretty good. I like the ginger teriyaki flavor of this tenderloin more than the grilled tuna. Next up, we got a lemon-thyme marinated chicken breast, some mashed potatoes, root vegetables, and a green mustard jus. Let's get some of the jus in there.
We definitely need it.
A little overcooked, but you taste that lemon-thyme in there. The jus adds a good amount of flavor. So I have one more bite with some of the skin on there. Nice crispy skin. Definitely does not compare to that tuna steak and that tenderloin we had, but it's not bad. For our first dessert, we got the apple crumb rice pudding. Let's get some of that vanilla bean ice cream in there. Had rice pudding a few times when I was in the South. And this is very good. Next up, we got the crunchy walnut cake with dark chocolate mousse. Looks like there's some raspberry sauce on the side. Okay. I like that the mousse is a vast majority of this. All the walnuts add a nice crunchy texture to the mousse. And raspberry is a nice touch. Again, very good dessert. Last but not least, we got their signature dessert, which is a lemon icebox pie with a berry creme. Good lemon flavor. Again, texture is nice and creamy. Let's get some of that berry creme in there. And the lemon and berry go very well together. All the food at the Animator's Palate was very good. Still doesn't beat Royal Palace in my opinion, but we're gonna try somewhere new tomorrow. For our last restaurant, we're here at the Enchanted Garden. It's themed based on the gardens of Versailles and have more southern style cooking. Let's get started. For our first appetizer, we got some ahi tuna. There's some avocado in between there, wasabi sauce and soy sauce. And there's some crunchy noodles on top. Let's get some of that soy sauce and wasabi in there. Wow. Wasabi's a nice kick. Again, I don't really like wasabi, but with the tuna specifically, it goes really well with that. Crunchy noodles on top is good for texture. And that tuna is just so fresh. Amazing. Next up, we got the North Atlantic lobster ravioli in a tomato broth that looks like some roasted garlic and some sweet basil with a Parmesan cheese on top. You can see there's a good amount of lobster in there. Nice. You can really taste the lobster. Again, that basil adds a nice sweet level to that tomato broth. And the ravioli itself is cooked just right. Next up, we got some heirloom tomato soup. There's some sour cream, basil, and some croutons in there. Nice classic tomato soup taste. For our salad course, we got the harissa lamb salad with a cucumber, yogurt, and a paprika sauce. And there's some eggplant in there as well. Wow. The harissa lamb is excellent. Eggplant's pretty average, but the lamb here is marinated great. And the yogurt sauce adds so much more flavor. Amazing. For our first entree, we got some caramelized sea scallops. There's some asparagus or red wine veal jus, and some sun-dried tomato couscous. You can see there's a nice sear on that scallops. Get some of that jus in there. Wow. Amazing. Let's get some of that tomato couscous. Couscous is a little dry, but again, the sea scallop was well worth it. For our next entree, we got some pan-seared sea bass. There's some fennel on top. It's over a fava bean and pea risotto, and it's in some kind of a wine sauce. Looks like some Dylan chive in there as well. There's a nice sear on that sea bass. Wow. So much flavor packed in that sea bass. Very flaky and juicy. Let's get some of that risotto in there. Melts in your mouth. Let's get that sea bass in the wine sauce. Wow. This is definitely the best food I had here at the Enchanted Garden, and one of my favorite meals in this entire trip. For our final entree, we got the slow roasted prime rib with a double baked potato, and it's in its natural jus with some vegetables on the side. Good old piece of fat right there. Cooked medium rare. Cooked perfectly. Again, so much flavor, but just uncomparable to that sea bass and sea scallops we had earlier. Let's get some of those potatoes. Never tried a double baked potato before. It's pretty good. For our first dessert, we got the pecan tart, and it has a bourbon caramel sauce. Get some of that sauce in there. There's a very light bourbon taste, and the pecan tart is just really good. The texture between the main part of the tart and the crunchy pecans is just excellent. For our next dessert, we got the warm, sticky date pudding, and there's a butterscotch sauce and some vanilla ice cream. Wow. I love the butterscotch flavor with that date pudding, and the warmness of that with that ice cream is just right. Last but not least, we got the chocolate torte with a coffee creme. Classic torte taste. Very good. And that's a wrap on our food tour of the Disney Dream. The food here was absolutely amazing, especially that of the Enchanted Garden, and that sea bass was just something else. Besides the food, the atmosphere at the restaurants here was excellent, and the service is just uncomparable to everywhere else I've been. Until next time on Arman Travels.